back to football now. In Cleveland today, the Dolphins and the Browns, two 7-4 teams with playoff aspirations, meeting in a very big ball game today, and it's being a very low-scoring ball game. The Browns out in front 7-3. They're just getting started in the third period. Mike, this is kind of a change of pattern for the Cleveland Browns. Usually they wait till the fourth quarter to take the lead.
Well, the new rules have made it virtually impossible to cover wide receivers one-on-one, so it was imperative that Cleveland get a good pass rush this afternoon, and that's what they've done. As Brian Sight goes, so go the Cleveland Browns, and he got them on early. So did the AFC's second leading rusher, Mike Pruitt. In the first half alone, he had 75 yards, including this 24-yarder up the middle to set up their first touchdown by Pat Moriarty. Greasy fires long here to Duriel Harris for 33 to set up an Uwe von Schamann field goal of 38 yards, 7-3. Both teams 7-4. Key game, needless to say, for both of them. Key game for the Washington Redskins today, too, in the nation's capital. They are out in front of the Dallas Cowboys, 14-3. This ball game in the second period. Theismann, a 4-yard touchdown pass to John McDaniel. John Riggins has scored from 3 yards out. The Redskins right now surprisingly 8-3 Cowboys by a score of 14-3. The ball game you're watching has the Bears out in front of the Jets at the half, 14-6. Tony Linhart has missed an extra point and missed a field goal, but the Bears so far are missing Walter Payton. And Mike, let me ask you about your former team, the Bears. Can they, let's hope Walter will be back, but can they win in this league without Walter? I think not. I think over the years they've relied on him so much that they have never really given anybody else a chance to play. Now, they have a good player in Willie McClendon from Georgia, and he is getting a chance to play right now, but let's hope Walter's not hurt, because I don't think it'll definitely hurt their chances to get into the playoffs. The Jets figured they could handle the Bears' defensive line with the best offensive line in football. It looked like that was going to happen early on. Todd hit Jerome Barkham in the end zone for the Jets' first score to give them a 6-0 lead. Tony Linhart, however, had his extra point attempt blocked by Mike Spivey, and the Bears changed things when Mike Phipps threw for 21 yards to Ricky Watts in the end zone. Nice move on cornerback Johnny Lynn. Bears' extra point was good, 7-6. Todd went back to pass in the second quarter and fires for Derek Gaffney. Terry Schmidt, number 44, picks it up. That flag you saw was pass interference against Gaffney. It set up this touchdown run by Dave Williams. Bears lead 14-6. There is no report from the Bears bench as to Walter's condition. However, I was looking at him, Brian. There was no ice pack, and perhaps they're just giving McClendon a chance to play.
Let's hope for the best. We'll keep watching it. Two of the NFL's have-nots are going at it in Buffalo. The Packers and the Bills. Packers out in front 12-6, that ball game at the half. It is the Colts' misfortune to be in Foxborough today on the week after the New England Patriots were embarrassed in Denver. The Patriots are out in front. This is no mistake, 33-7. Michael, this one must look like a New England highlight film.
Yeah, our old friend again, who? Doc Grogan, Mr. Hyde. At one point, Steve Grogan, 8 for 8, 137 yards. He's thrown 2 touchdown passes. It gives him 21 on the year. A tough ball game all the way around, including for the referees, as this man was carried off. Grogan's first strike was to Stanley Morgan, who across the middle for 25 yards. Extra point was no good. New England led early 6-0. Joe Washington, who always seems to give the Patriots fits, gets loose here for 20 yards, down to the 1-yard line to set up McCauley's 1-yard run. Colts led 7-6, but Grogan brought him right back. First with this pass to all-pro tight end Russ Francis that carried for 43 yards and set up a touchdown. And then another touchdown pass. Grogan finds Harold Jackson in the end zone. He beats Nettles. And then this play, if it wasn't bad enough, Bucky Dilts goes back to punt. It is blocked by Rick Sanford, rookie out of South Carolina. He picks it up and takes it into the end zone. The score right now, 33-7. And I think all the Baltimore players are probably packed and ready to hang it up for this 1979 season.
Look for the exit. Now, two other games very quickly. St. Louis and Philadelphia, they are tied 6-6 at the half. And Detroit and Minnesota in the second period, still no score in that ball game. Don't forget doubleheader day on NBC. 4 games still to come. The big one on the coast matches the Chargers against the Steelers. And then after football steps aside, it's a special 3-hour big event as the Engels relive the Little House years. That followed by Primetime Sunday with Tom Snyder. We've got a second half of football to come. Let's go back to Chicago.
Thank you, Brian. Back here at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Chicago Bears are leading the New York Jets 14-6. Don Criqui with John Brody. The Chicago Bear quarterbacks, Bob Avellini and Mike Phipps, had a meeting not long ago with Coach Neil Armstrong, John. Said they wanted to open the offense up a little more. He said, okay, let's give it a shot. They're scoring a lot more points now.
I don't know if the meeting produced any points, Donnie, but, you know, people say, hey, he's playing with a lot more confidence. It's one thing to have confidence in yourself, but if your coaching staff doesn't exhibit any to you and put you into the offensive structure, it's pretty hard to go out and produce much. I think they've done that to the coach's credit, and I also think Phipps has fulfilled what they hoped he would. Sometimes when a guy gets to be about 30, he starts to come on. It looks as if Mike Phipps may have found a home in Chicago. I know Chicago's very happy with him right now.
Well, he's an interesting story. Was drafted #1 by the Cleveland Browns. Did not play well a lot of years. The pressure was on him. Said maybe he didn't have it. And then he was out for a whole season with an injury. Now he's come in now, and you can see that confidence. He's throwing with a lot of authority. He's really gunning the ball.
Well, yeah, that's, again, it's like, you know, he'd come in for a while and do this for a while. Once you realize that you are the one in control of the fans, they never boo a touchdown pass, you can take all the heat you like, you have the guts to walk up to the front office and say, wait a minute, I've got to be part of this structure. You're paying me to do something, and if you're calling all the plays and you're not including me in it, what good am I to you? And I think that was really the meat of the meeting, and I think it's bearing fruit out here in their play. And as a result, I've got to think they have a chance to go somewhere.
John, do you remember some moments of heat in your 17 years at San Francisco?
A lot of it. A lot of it was fun. And as you look back, it was all one big fun trip.
This 1979 National Football League game is brought to you by Schlitz. Make the most of now, from the life you live to the beer you drink. Go for it. By Allstate Insurance Companies. You're in good hands with Allstate. By Chrysler Plymouth, who invite you to see their 1980 models and compare Chrysler engineering to any other cars. And by 7-Up, crisp and clean, refreshing. America's turning 7-Up. National Football League action will continue with the second half kickoff at Chicago.
See if this guy knows how to cut wood.
He's going to have to work to start that saw.
Yeah. No, he won't. That's a McCulloch 320 with electronic ignition.
Boy, it sure starts easy.
It's also got auto sharp. Sharpens itself with the press of a button.
I wish I had that.
There's more. It's got a chain brake handguard for safety.
That's a lot of saw. Look at him cut. Hey, Dad, what do you think of the McCulloch 320?
I think we're in trouble. McCulloch.
Both these quarterbacks throwing the ball well. Richard Todd out of Alabama, Mike Phipps out of Purdue. His team won 27 college games with him at quarterback. Then that famous trade, Paul Warfield went to the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns in return for the Dolphins' top pick in the draft, and it was Mike Phipps. A lot of lean years. In fact, he really hasn't played, John, regularly in almost 2.5 years. Missed all of the '76 season. But you were saying that getting that early 30s and players are at their peak physically and, of course, know the game.
Well, some get into another line of work and others come on, but it's the turning point for Mike Phipps, and it looks like he's turning in the right direction. He's wanted to be a first-line player for a long time, and it looks like he is becoming one. 4 games do not make a career, but they sure give you a good indication when all 4 of them have been excellent ball games, and he's in the middle of having a 5th.
Well, he had an interesting observation after the Bears came back from a 16-0 deficit to beat the Rams last week here in Chicago. Phipps said, one of the important things about this game is the first time we've won a game without depending solely on Walter. They did it with the pass last week.
And I think it's also an impressive factor in this game. Walter Payton got hurt, remember, when they were ahead 7-6. And in the middle of a drive going down. From that point on, Phipps took them in. I think Watts has helped them immensely. They didn't expect the kind of help they have been given out of him. He's caught, you know, when a kid catches 10 balls in a game and a half and over 200 yards, he's done some producing. Now you can see these 2 backs are going to be very sorely needed. Both Payton and Williams being hurt a little bit in the first half. It's questionable whether they're coming back, but it almost looks as if the Jets are going to come after you. You better do something offensively, and we see that neck brace around Payton's neck. It looks as if he's gearing up to go.
Well, with Walter Payton's 22 yards in the first half, he now is just short of 6,500 career yards in just 5 seasons. He's 9th on the all-time list. But we're told he could come back in the game after getting his shoulder banged up following a pass reception. He did not play much of the second quarter. Linhart kicks off for the Jets. And way back is Len Walterscheid down the far sidelines. He takes a dive over the 15-yard line. Tom Newton was down to make the play on special teams, number 44 for the Jets. So we're set to go now with the Chicago Bears on offense. The Bears will go 1st and 10 with Mike Phipps at quarterback. His wide receivers are Brian Baschnagel and Ricky Watts, who caught a touchdown pass in the first half. The running backs have been changed up. Willie McClendon has been going in there now. He's in. at the moment playing behind Dave Williams. Williams is playing fullback. McClendon the deep back in the nice set. 1st and 10 for Chicago. Pitch back goes to Willie McClendon. He likes that fuzzy concrete, that artificial turf. Turns quickly on it.
You hit that right. Fuzzy concrete is a perfect description. We take a look at the tight end. Now, he's on a man that is very tough to handle in Buttle. Buttle's been an outstanding linebacker. You see him in very few tackles because very seldom do people try him. They've got a young defense, the Jets do, and they just soon go other areas.
Mike Cobb, 250-pound tight end, number 87 out of Michigan State, blocking well on Buttle. But the resultant gain was only about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 now for Chicago. 14-6 the Bears lead. We're early in the 3rd quarter, Soldier Field. Bears with 3 straight victories. 6 and 5 on the year. Handoff goes to McClendon, open field, and McClendon's in a foot race now. He's across the 40. Cuts back, and McClendon crosses midfield. Willie McClendon, a quick back from Georgia, is finally brought down by Schaefer.
Yeah, it was a terrific job. But the key was that Stan Blanca, the middle linebacker, who's the guy that makes most of their tackles, was handled. You expect your middle linebacker to get into a position to make the play. Here's Blanca. Dan Neal makes a great play on him. Seals him off, doesn't allow him to get to the point of attack. That's the way your backs pick up 25 and 30-yard gains. Good job on McClendon's part. Great job on Neal's part.
So the Bears come out with the big gainer, a 33-yard gain from scrimmage, and now Chicago has the ball 1st and 10 at the Jet 48-yard line. Pitch back. This time they go to Williams. Abdul Salam rides him down. Pillar 76, Salam 74, Klecko 73, and Marty Lyons 93 across the defensive front of the New York Jets. Buttle, Blinka, and McKibben back the line, as Mike Phipps is using a lot of different plays in offense now. He's gone to a lot of people in his backfield. They've all seen the football. He's mixed up his throwing. Miami's come from behind now in the 3rd quarter to take the lead over Cleveland. Delvin Williams on a touchdown run. Dolphins leading 10-7 early in this 3rd quarter. 2nd down and a long 7 for the Chicago Bears. Walter Payton back in there, ready to go to work, and Payton delivers a 1st down carry. Schaefer Suggs runs him down, so Walter Payton is very well indeed as he takes the ball for a 1st down.
Well, you know, there's a big difference between a shoulder separation and a dislocated shoulder. Now, he's had shoulder problems all year long, Don, and when that shoulder goes out, it's one of the most painful things in the world. But the pain subsides and you can go back and play. It could go out again. He's not showboating. He's a hurt individual at the time, but he makes a miraculous recovery about 2 times a week because that thing goes out a lot.
Which is the one you can play with, the dislocated shoulder?
Yeah, once they stick it back in, it just hurts.
Send you right back out, huh? 1st down and 10 now for Chicago at the 38-yard line of the Jets. Phipps swings it out. A little bit too much on it for Walter Payton, and he was looking around at those linebackers, too. You recall that when he banged up the shoulder, he caught a pass swinging out, made the turn, and Buttle hammered him.
Okay, now that we're starting to pick up yardage on 1st down, now he goes and he throws the ball on 1st down. It gives you so much more time when you do that. Your offensive linemen all of a sudden get control of the defensive line. The offensive line for the Bears right now is playing excellent football, but it's helped a lot by the calls.
Dennis Lick and Ted Albrecht are the tackles for Chicago. Bodine and Sori are the guards. Dan Neal is the center. It's 2nd down and 10 as Phipps drops to throw. Big rush, swings it out. He's got a man. Dave Williams turns the corner. Good block. And Williams accelerates inside the 45-yard line down to the 35.
Well, I'll tell you, Phipps is alert. This time, this is a screen pass, but even on a screen pass, you'd like to have the guard or tackle get a little bit of a piece of the defensive tackles. Now, Joe Klecko is fast. We haven't seen a lot of him in Phipps' face today, so you have to assume that the offensive guards are playing well against him. But this time, he gets there very quick. An alert play by Williams to look for the ball in time, and they pick up 5 or 6 yards. Could have been nothing.
So now it'll be 3rd down and a long 5 for Chicago, 33-yard line of the Jets. Handoff goes, and here comes Walter Payton. And he takes it down to the 30, a gain of about 2 or 3 yards. Payton still holds the NCAA record for scoring points in college. During his career at Jackson State, he scored 464 points.
Interesting situation, Don. Right now, it's 4th down and 2. You kick a field goal, it would have to go 47 yards. They were making that decision on the sideline while we were discussing it. The fans, of course, wanted to go. I think Armstrong made the right decision. A field goal could prove very instrumental before the game's over. They're going to punt it. I guess they feel he hasn't got the... Thomas doesn't have the leg to get it through from there, right?
Well, he's hit from 55, has Thomas, but right now it looks like those flags are blowing it towards him, so he'd be kicking into kind of a gusting wind. Oh, back gets the ball. They go to the run. And Doug Buffone, the man they call the Papa Bear of this team, a veteran linebacker, takes a look at this.
I wasn't quite sure how it was going to happen, but it didn't compute. I'm a little...
For 8 years, the defensive captain of the Chicago Bears, Doug Buffone, in his 13th year, gets a moment in the sun.
I'll tell you, I helped him develop those hands. You notice he made a pretty good catch from center. I threw him 4 or 5 when he used to play against us in San Francisco. He's been a great player. He's been a very instrumental part of the city, and it's great to see him make a big play.
Only 6 linebackers in NFL history have played in more games than Doug Buffone, and he gives the Bears a first down, so they're challenging again. Pitch back. Walter Payton dances inside, and Payton spinning, turning it down to the 7-yard line. On a 1st and 10 carry, Walter Payton gets down to the 7. McKibben finally knocked him down 53. Look at him dancing. Look at these legs go in and out. He didn't give you much to shoot at.
Okay, he's got, you know, Williams does a pretty good job. Suggs comes up and actually takes Williams out of the play. Well done by him. How many guys are going to pick up 10 yards on a play that looks like it should be stopped at the line of scrimmage? He did.
Bring up 2nd and less than a yard now for the Chicago Bears. 7-yard line of the New York Jets. Bears leading the game 14-6 and challenging again. Eagle and Watson wide. Here's a big hit by the Jets. Stan Blinka, the middle linebacker, shot the gap. He is a rookie, 5th-round choice out of Sam Houston State in Texas. And Blinka, 54, was there to make the hit.
And he's going to be slow getting up because that was the kind of contact where both players were running full speed when they hit.
We again apologize for those of you having problems with the audio pickup. That area is being worked on. Right now, there is 8:10 showing on the 3rd quarter clock. The clock is running. The Bears break the huddle. They were down 6-0, led 14-6 at the half. That's how it stands now. The Bears are looking at the Jets end zone, which is only 8 yards away. 3rd down and 2. Payton ahead. He didn't get there. On 3rd and 2, the Jets knock it down.
Well, this is going to be very difficult to determine because as Payton was squirming, I could not hear the whistle, so I don't know if it was blown in time. But before he hit the ground, that ball went up for grabs.
Less than a yard short of it. 4th down comes up. The yard marker moves very close to the chain mark that would be on 1st down to the Chicago Bears. Walt Michael looking out, not much he can do, but send his hitters in there, bring up his goal line defense. Here comes the chains out to officially measure.
This is a formality, I think, just to give the Bears a little more time to decide what they're going to do. You can always call for a measurement if it's relatively close. The officials can't turn you down. And if you just stick to your guns, you can see Phipps is giving the coaches time to make a decision as to what kind of play they want to call or whether or not they want to go for it.
So in a sense, you can wisely use the measurement to get a little extra time at timeout.
Simple. It's the old stall game. In tennis, they bounce the ball a few extra times. In basketball, they kind of walk slowly after it. He did a wise thing.
4th down, the Bears are going to go for it. The setbacks are Walter Payton and Dave Williams. 2 tight ends in the game, Latta and Cobb. Power formation. Robin Earl is also in there to block. They go to Payton. Turns upfield. Walter Payton. He's there.
He's got it. It's close, but he's got it, Don.
Number 76, Lawrence Miller, second. But Walter Payton, who bounced back like a greyhound after he went out with that shoulder injury, makes the 1st down carry. It'll be 1st and goal for the Bears just outside the 5-yard line of the Jets.
And remember, they're putting this drive together against good defensive play. The Jets have been in a position to stop their drive time after time. Only outstanding execution on the part of Payton, Phipps, and the offensive line has kept this drive alive.
Bears with much more diversity in their offense in the recent weeks, resulting in 3 straight victories, and they're on their way now. Now somebody's going to be attended to. On the Jets, Bobby Jackson appears to have been shaken up. Jackson, a second-year cornerback out of Florida State. The Honey Bears are dancing in the sunshine here at Chicago. Temperature in the 60s. Flags out straight now. We have crosswind really blowing across the field. And the Steelers and the Chargers are ready to go to work in the second game here on NBC today on most of these NBC stations. You will see it in New York. Pittsburgh, with a 9-2 record, has outscored its last 4 opponents 124-20. They're just crushing people, the Steelers. First and goal, Chicago Bears, just outside the Jet 5-yard line. Handoff. Peyton, nothing there. Jets fill nicely. Fillers was there. Also on the stop was Greg Buttle, number 51. Peyton says, good job. He didn't say that earlier when Buttle put him out of the game.
I don't know if he said anything personally, Don. There's not a lot of talking goes on down there, but and of course with a Walter Payton, people are so busy doing their job to get him on the ground that few words are spoken. But the Jets, to their credit, have been very tough to move against.
So the Bears line up in the power formation again. Second down and goal from just outside the Jet 5-yard line. Phipps looking in the end zone. Swings the pass. Touchdown, Dave Williams. You remember earlier, Dave Williams looked back at the ball at the other end and couldn't catch it. Looking into the sun, he gets another shot at. Touchdown, Chicago.
All caused because the Jet linebackers and safety men had to be concerned with Payton to get up and help out. When they were, Williams just slips under the block. He is standing all alone. You can see they've got to do something to get on Walter Payton. As they do, he finds a way to get behind Buttle. Buttle's concerned with Payton. He's not concerned with the running back. He slips into the end zone for 6.
So Dave Williams came in as a free agent, gets the touchdown, and the Bears open up a 20-6 lead. Bob Thomas' extra point is blocked. And a penalty marker goes down. Bob Thomas went down after the kick.
Now this is strange to me because he got a piece of that ball, and it was just an extension of the kicker's motion.
No penalty. He touched the kick. No penalty. He touched the ball.
That's the good part. Sometimes the officials are picking that flag up and sticking it back in their pocket when they call it wrongly, and that's the way football should be officiated.
Donald Dykes comes in, blocks the ball. Thomas swooned there. He was all right.
Yeah.
You had it, though, Coach Brody. You had it. We're going to take a break in the action as from high above Soldier Field, you take the aerial look, and it's the Bears 20, the Jet 6. News Chopper 5 from WMAQ television here in Chicago, giving us the aerial look on a beautiful, beautiful November day. It's been a good one for the Bears, too, as they were down 6-0 and have rallied back to lead the game 20-6, 5:54 to play third quarter. Don Criqui with John Brody at Soldier Field. Bears ready to kick it off. Lonnie Perrin kicks, hits a high spinner downfield. Harper will take it at his 5. Wedge forms. Here's the charge, the initial crunch, and Harper takes it across the 25 to the 27. Free football, and those Bears were looking for that. Play was down. So the Jets go back on offense, 1st and 10, but they need some big plays now as they have fallen down by 14 points to these Chicago Bears, a club going for its 4th consecutive win. It's a Miami holding to a 10-7 lead over the Cleveland Browns in the third quarter. Two teams looking at the playoffs perhaps as wild cards. Jack Pardee might announce them. He said Washington would beat Dallas. Right now they are 14-3 in the third quarter. We go to live action at Soldier Field. It's 1st and 10 for the Jets at their 28-yard line. Todd needs points, and he goes right back to pitch. He's got a guy open. But Barkham goes back to the other side, spins around, lost the ball, and Todd went down as Mike Hartenstein, the right end, and Jim Osborne, the left tackle, both were on the stop, on the block. Big rush against Richard Todd.
You bet. It makes those receivers a little bit more difficult to find because Jerome Barkham was open. He did not find him in time.
There's some other scores. New England burying Baltimore. Green Bay was out in front of Buffalo when we looked, and here's Philadelphia holding to a 9-6 lead over St. Louis. Jeff Comlow ran for a Lions touchdown. They lead the Vikings at Bloomington, Minnesota 7-0. Todd play faking. No, he gives the ball off, and Clark Gaines responds with yardage across the 30. On a 2nd and 10 play, he got to the 32.
Remember, we were discussing Alan Page, how he'll jump around to block and oftentimes make the play. When he doesn't make it, that's what happens. It goes through the point of attack, and the runner is untouched, and he picks up 7 or 8 yards. Now, that was a pretty good try, but he didn't get it done.
Alan Page only weighs about 225. He is a marathon runner. Did you know that, John? He's running about 80 miles a week in the offseason.
He can do just about anything he likes. He's a great athlete, and he has been for a number of years.
He grades out as the Bears' best defensive lineman. Free football as there's a mishandled snap. So the Jets punting team comes back out on 3rd down and 6. They lost yardage.
Very seldom see a mishandled snap between a center that's worked for a long time with a quarterback. And Todd and Fields have worked a long time together. That was not on the snapper. Generally it is when a quarterback fumbles. That was on Todd trying to get it in his hands after he had it in a position to throw.
Here's Ramsey punting from his 17. He unloads a punt. Schubert goes all the way back to his 18-yard line. Jets bring the coverage down and close in on Steve Schubert at the 24. But do we see that terrible foul on the field, John? That yellow flag out there. We do. Back around the line of scrimmage. I tell you, Ramsey got all that. Got it up in the wind and carried 59 yards. But it was just a little bit of exercise for everybody because they're coming back to do it again. Talking to Walt Michaels before the game, he's a great proponent of that stuff about coaching geniuses. He says, you get guys that hit, you're a coaching genius. John McKay at Tampa Bay says a coaching genius is a guy that won last week.
In legal man downfield, number 50.
McKay right now is leading this NFC Central. Says he has his Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a 5-year plan because he couldn't have a 6-year plan. He only had a 5-year contract. He'd have got it done then, and that was it.
When things are going good in Tampa Bay or in John McKay's area, he's a pretty funny man.
Yeah. Here's another one. Farther. Schubert, like Willie Mays, goes back and fields it over the shoulder. Starts upfield. Gets some blocks. Not done yet. He's down at the 28.
You're going to see a penalty. The Jets are trying to make a good play, and they come up with a mistake. Roger Farmer trying to help out. Late hit.
So, John, you and I saw the Pittsburgh Steelers last week, and you'll be seeing the Steelers again on the NBC doubleheader game on most of these stations. Penalty against Chicago.
What?
62-yard punt. Is this the best team you've ever seen off the way they're playing right now, Pittsburgh?
Oh, it is. You know, it's the best team it's the best play I've ever seen one team go through an extended period of games. 5 in a row where you just annihilate your opponent is rather rare. We're getting a little question here. I thought it was against the Jets because I actually saw Farmer come in late, and that's when the flag was thrown. They made the initial signal that it was against the Bears. It's being corrected, and again, when the official is wrong, I think more and more he's exposing it. And
Personal foul piling on a kicking team. That's a first down.
We'll look at the tail end on replay.
I don't think you'll see. Here he comes out of the right side. This man is down.
That's spearing, yeah.
He's polishing him off. Can't do that.
Right now, we're going to take a break in the action at Soldier Field. The Bears on offense with a 20-6 lead. Richard Todd gets on the phones. His backup, Matt Robinson, is usually on them during the game and will be shortly when Todd goes back in. Todd is 10 of 14 for 140 yards.
And you don't make a change when Richard Todd's playing well or your first-string quarterback is. I don't care what the score be. It's not on Richard.
4:17 to play third quarter. They got a wide receiver screen. They get the ball out to Watts on a 1st and 10 play. And Watts advances the ball down to the 45-yard line of the Jets. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WMAQ-TV, Chicago.
Don, you just saw the problem if you're a New York Jets fan. It's been Ricky Watts and Mike Phipps controlling the ball offensively, not giving the Jets offense a chance to handle it, which they generally do.
With John Brody, this is Don Criqui at Soldier Field in Chicago. 3:38 to play in the third quarter. Bears on offense lead the game 20-6. They were up 14-6 at the half, have extended that lead. And here comes Walter Payton trying to turn the corner. And a very fine tackle made by Greg Buttle coming up from the left linebacker. Submarine Walter Payton. Sweetness, the Bears players call him. Sir Walter, the Jet coaches call him after looking at the film.
If you try Greg Buttle's side very long, you're going to come up empty, and they've had pretty good success running that way so far today. To think it could continue would be extending the imagination, in my opinion.
Well, there was a loss of 3 yards, so it's now 2nd down and 13 for Chicago. Bears have the ball at the Jets 48. Dave Williams, who scored the last Bear touchdown in the end zone on the reception end of a Phipps throw, gets the ball down now to the 47, a gain of only about a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 12. And a Jet player is down. Joe Klecko, the right tackle. Klecko, in his 3rd year from Temple, grades out as the Jets' best defensive lineman.
And he's been playing a whole lot better as the season goes on, Don. You know, he got off to a slow start, had a few injuries, and he's come back and has really been the mainstay in their defensive line. I hope he's not hurt bad.
So while Joe Klecko is being attended to, there's a break in the action. We'll return to Soldier Field in a moment.
This is Brian Gumble in New York reporting that in Cleveland the Browns have gone ahead of the Dolphins 14-10. Here's how the score was set up. Brian Sipe long distance wire to Reggie Rucker. Rucker forced out of bounds by Tim Foley, but not before he gets inside the 10. That play good for 54 yards. And then 3rd and goal. Brian Sipe rolls left, off balance, great catch. Ozzie Newsome in the end zone, touchdown Cleveland. 21st touchdown pass of the year for Sipe. It's 14-10 Browns. Let's go back to Chicago and Don Criqui.
You never have those Cleveland Browns beaten until that final gun goes off and you got the biggest number, because they come from behind, have done so all season. Here at Chicago, the Bears have the ball, 3rd down and 12. Phipps with a deep drop, stands in against the rush, throws back, and Baschnagel comes back at the ball. Brian Baschnagel having his best season. 4-year veteran from Ohio State comes back at the ball and catches it. It's a 1st down for Chicago.
He must feel like he's in heaven, because that ball was put on the money. As soon as he turned around, it hit him right between the 8 and the 4. Phipps had real good pressure, threw it over the linebackers, underneath the secondary, in the only spot it could be thrown.
So Baschnagel, as you see, has 3 for 35 yards. And the Bears set up again, 1st down and 10 at the New York Jets 30-yard line. Phipps, quick pitch, Dave Williams turns back upfield, blockers kicked out on the outside linebacker, gave him some room, and he got ahead for 4 yards. Stan Blinken made the tackle. The Bears with a 14-point lead, running the clock down now in the 3rd quarter. 1:23 left to go as the Bears huddle at their leisure. Joe Klecko is going to be all right. He was on the sideline smiling, got wind knocked out of him.
Do you remember early in the ball game we saw Doug Plank and Gary Fensick? You know, they were making a lot of moves into the Jet running game. The same was true of the Jet defense early in the game. They kind of stopped doing that when Phipps is throwing the ball well.
Straight ahead on 2nd down and 6. They go to Walter Payton. That great change of pace move. He stutter steps and then drives into the Jet defense. That'll bring up 3rd down and short yardage for Chicago. Next Saturday on NBC Sports World, world champion Linda Fratiani, pairs champion Ty Babyloni and Randy Gardner, and pro superstar JoJo Starbuck. And a spectacular cast give a dazzling exhibition on Star Skate. But then it's the awesome brute strength of the World Invitational Weightlifting Championships, plus the pressure-packed semifinals of the Legends of Bowling. That's all next Saturday on NBC Sports World, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. McKibben, a rookie free agent linebacker who got a starting call, is a little slow getting up now for the Jets, and off he goes.
Well, he's one of those 4 rookies that start for the Jets. He's been playing well, been playing better as the weeks progress. These guys are having a tough go of it right now defensively for the Jets, because the Bears are playing outstanding offense.
Jets have 4 rookies, as you mentioned, John, in their starting defensive lineup, and a lot of times 5 in the passing down. They'll bring Gastineau in. In fact, Gastineau's in there now. 3rd down and less than 1. Bears have been running the ball at the New York Jets. Payton turns wide. So quick. Looked like he was sealed off, put his head down, drove inside the Jet 20. It's a first down for the Bears. Gastineau, 99, knocked him down. That should be the last play of the 4th quarter. A standing salute for the Chicago Bears through 3 quarters of play. As they go to the other end of the field, here is the replay.
Well, you know, it looks as if everything is sealed off right at the point of attack. But Walter Payton dips to the
quality.
Chicago Bear checking things out down there. You get a pencil and paper, we'll give you a moment, then we'll give you that Olympic address again. Right now we go to live action. It's 1st and 10 Chicago. 18-yard line of the New York Jets. 4th quarter opening play. Handoff goes to Payton. Turns upfield, and Walter Payton takes a hard strike but drives it down to the 15-yard line. That Olympic address again for your tax-deductible contribution to help our American Olympic athletes. U.S. Olympics, Post Office Box 1980T, Cathedral Station, Boston, Massachusetts. Going to have you over in Moscow, aren't you, John?
Looking forward to it.
Handling those weightlifters?
I'm not going to handle any weights or weightlifters.
NBC is bringing over 700 people to cover the 1980 Summer Games at Moscow. A record 152.5 hours of Olympic television coverage. Pitch back goes to Walter Payton. Turns the corner, lots of Jets after him. Walter took a flying leap out of bounds there. Joe Klecko finally got him.
Okay, here's Gastineau. Simple little block at the point of attack by Robin Earl. All you have to do is get a piece. Then here comes David Williams. He forces Gastineau outside. Payton outruns the angle. And when you saw that possession time of 13 minutes plus in the 3rd quarter, it's very hard to score many touchdowns in 1 minute and 27 seconds if you're the Jet offense.
3rd down and less than a yard now for the Chicago Bears as they're challenging the Jets by running the ball right at them. Chicago's offensive line really firing out on the snap. 2nd back through, Walter Payton. Nothing down low, so he takes it over the top for a first down. Payton brings the ball inside the 8-yard line.
Payton with the handoff.
Cleveland has now rallied back to take the lead from Miami. 14-10 as Sipe has thrown to Newsome for a touchdown. Washington continues to lead Dallas. Cowboys with a 2nd field goal. Green Bay holding to a 3-point lead over Buffalo. And New England executing Baltimore at Foxborough. Patriots must have come away from Denver with some hurt feelings last week.
Well, they'd like to have had a few of these points last week.
Detroit. Nowhere, but they're leading the game 7-0 at the moment in Minnesota. 1st down and goal now. Payton goes wide, eludes one tackler, and they get him for a loss. Walter Payton is run down for a loss back at about the 11-yard line. Mark Gastineau, 99. Good pass rusher, and Stan Blinka, number 54, the middle linebacker, were on the stop.
And the funny thing is, you're going to watch Gastineau in real hot pursuit. It's not the key. Look in the left corner of your picture. Remember earlier when this is the same play that Payton ran, or McClendon ran for about 30 yards? Same call, same play, except Blinka was able to get in the point of attack and force Payton wide, along with a little help from his defensive line.
Blinka stands in. Gastineau, number 99, is a rookie from East Central Oklahoma. 2nd-round draft choice. He's a great pass rusher, weighs 268. He runs with the backs. Tips into the end zone. Dave Williams almost had his 2nd. Boy, Phipps, when he goes back to throw, he knows just what he wants to do with it, doesn't he, John?
He does. He had a man down in the end zone who was not open. He came up. He was hoping he could get to Williams all the way. Buttle covered him about as well as he could, but he had his back to the ball, so he figured he had a chance. Now, there is no sun to look into now. The sun has changed during the course of the afternoon. Williams had no problem getting his hands on that ball, just couldn't hold on.
Bob Thomas, who kicked Notre Dame to a national championship win over Alabama in 1973, who's hit on over 66% of his field goals, standing by if the Bears come up short here. It's 3rd and goal from the 11. Phipps looks into the end zone. Close, hits a man, but the Jet defense is there. Williams, coming out of the backfield, was struck in hard by Blinken by McKibben. 54 and 53. So now Bob Thomas comes out. He's hit 12 of 18 field goal tries. Percentage-wise, he's the best field goal kicker in Bear history. Some 60% of his field goal attempts have been good over the years in his 5th year. Originally drafted by the Rams and cut by them. A lot of pressure brought on him by Chicago fans when he had some ups and downs, but Jim Finks, the general manager, said to get a good place kicker, you've got to stick with him when the things go down. And they did that with Thomas. Now they have a good one. Thomas delivers. He gets it up. He gets it through. So the Chicago Bears extend their lead to 23-6 on the Bob Thomas field goal. We'll be back at Soldier Field in a moment.
Bryant Gumbel in New York reporting that in Foxborough the Patriots have scored again. Stanley Morgan did it. Watch 55. Barry Krause, he gets his ticket stamped by number 34. Prentice McRae, super block. Morgan, after reversing his field, finds the sideline, finds himself a path, and once he crosses midfield, it is good night, Irene. 79 yards all the way, touchdown. Stanley Morgan on a punt return. The Patriots having a lot of fun at the Baltimore Colts' expense. In the 3rd period, it is the Patriots 43 and the Colts 7. 79-yard return for Stanley Morgan. Let's go back to Chicago and Don Criqui.
Thank you, Bryant. Joe Theismann throwing to Clarence Harmon for 10 yards. Another Washington touchdown. Thomas picks his kickoff out of the end zone. So Harper watches it roll back. Thomas is saluted, and the Jets will go on offense on the touchback, 1st and 10 at their 20. That's how it stands in the NFC Central Division. Tampa Bay holding on, and Chicago coming on with 3 straight wins and looking for a 4th right now. They're in command of this game, John.
You know what it's doing? It's really tightening up everything. They're not only taking a look at a playoff spot, but over in that other division, they've got 3 teams that are going to be tied for 1st place if the scores stay the way they seem right now. And Dallas does not have a lot. They are 1 game ahead of the Bears.
Richard Todd's going to run. Dan Hampton. They say Todd had enough ability to actually make it in the league as a running back if he was ever brought into that position, something you don't want to do with #1 draft choice quarterbacks. He can run.
Right, they've got to do something to control the ball, get the ball down the field, and if they have any chance of winning, they've got to score on this drive. Alluding back to the Dallas Cowboys, people have just assumed that they're in the playoffs. They're not. I mean, they're going to be tied for 1st place with both Washington and Philadelphia if the scores stay the same, and the Bears are only 1 game back, so it's not automatic with 5 games left to play.
No, it is not. It's going to go down to the final weeks to decide those wild cards. 2nd down and 9. Todd gives up. Run goes up the middle, across the 20, close to the 24. Clark Gaines carried the ball and was knocked down by 82 Alan Page. Now in his 13th year. Came into the league as a #1 draft choice in the 1st round that season when Clinton Jones was drafted out of Michigan State by the Vikings, and then Alan Page came in out of Notre Dame. He played 4 Super Bowl teams with the Vikings, 11 years at Minnesota. The only defensive player ever voted the National Football League's most valuable player. That was back in 1971. Alan Page. 3rd down and 6. Todd arcs a throw, and Bobby Jones goes up, comes down with a football. He has a 1st down reception at the 30th yard line. Tough little kid, Jones. Boy, he'll play.
Well, he's trying to get the ball down the field, and he knows if he can get a one-on-one situation with Ellis, who is doing the right thing. It's the 1st game he's really played in a long time. That's the cornerback trying to handle Jones. Don't give him any big, cheap plays at this time. He's allowing Jones to run those little out patterns when they put him man-to-man. They've been able to complete them, but it really hasn't changed the score in it.
How many guys come to the NFL from the Shenango Valley Warriors? That was his previous team.
Any way you can get there.
Here comes Gaines up the middle, and Clark Gaines has some room to run. He has the best per carry average in the NFL, 5.8 yards a rush. He's over 600 yards for the season. Boy, they're kicking some field goals at Buffalo.
You got that straight. 8.
12-12 is the score. Right now, it's a first down for the Jets. They have the ball across their 45-yard line at the 46. Derek Gaffney goes on the right flank. Jones on the left. Todd might be throwing on first down. Straight drop back. He's going to pitch. He loops it out. Oh, yes. Jerry Muckensturm, number 58, outside linebacker from Arkansas State, had the ball for a moment.
Well, Todd had to throw it very swiftly. Here's Marvin Powell on Dan Hampton. We talked about the fact Hampton thought he'd show Powell a little more than he had previously. Puts a pretty good rush on Todd and forces him to throw it before he wants to. Muckensturm, sometimes when you do a good job, you kind of preclude some of your pals from getting a piece of the ball. He did that to Fensick that time, and it was a certain interception, just blown by a linebacker doing a good job.
And that brings up second down and 10. Todd again, deep drop. Blocking's good. He fires. Throws high. Good defense. He was going to Jerome Barkham. Moving in on the play, though, for the Chicago Bears was Wentford Gaines, an extra defensive back, number 36. Wentford getting his shot in there. Had the good coverage on.
Well, he made two good plays at key times. Now, Todd got pretty good position that time, but he had nobody to throw to. And they're playing the nickel defense, putting a man directly on the tight end. Also the wide receivers, playing two free safeties deep, and it's been pretty hard to penetrate.
Third down and 10 now for Richard Todd and the Jet offense. Got a man. Schuler, big tight end from Penn State, comes out and gets the ball. First down reception. Mickey Schuler, a big, strong tight end, 240 pounds. He blocks like a tackle, they say, and gets his hands on the ball and holds on. So the Jets keep their drive alive on a 3rd and 10 completion to Schuler.
And there's still lots of time, Don. Over 9 minutes left to play, but it is necessary that the Jets put the ball in the end zone on this drive. They started with poor field position. They picked up 3 key first downs. They've done it by exploiting the whole field of play. If they can do that, they can get back in it.
It's 23-6 right now. 9 minutes to play in the game. Richard Todd goes to the run. Clark Gaines turns upfield and gets inside the 40. He's got some good yardage to the 38-yard line of the Chicago Bears. 54, Tom Hicks, middle linebacker, made the knockdown. Big development at Cleveland today. Bob Greasy has gone to the bench, not with an injury. Don Shula changed pitchers. Don Strock came in, threw a 50-yard touchdown pass. Not a touchdown, it was a completion, but the Dolphins are driving for what could be a game-tying score at Cleveland. A lot of speculation if Shula would pull Greasy, the man who directed 2 Super Bowl championship victories for Miami. That's a tough decision, isn't it, John? Well, that was a 2nd and 4 for a first down, incidentally.
You got it. And if it would help him win a football game, Shula would leave. I think he would leave his wife at home on road trips. I think he would do most anything to allow the Dolphins to have an opportunity to win, and I think that's why Miami's been so good over the years. Do you remember Jim Kick? He thought he ought to be playing. Shula thought he ought to be spot playing with Mercury Morris. He kept it that way. Neither of them were very happy, but as a team they were very effective, and I think that's been the key to Don Shula over the years. He doesn't let personalities interfere with what he thinks best.
Durking's carry, where they spotted him down, is going to be the nose of the football away from a first down. Don Strock just threw for a touchdown, we're told. So he got his tight end Hardy in the end zone, and the Miami Dolphins on the extra point, which was good, have tied the game at Cleveland 17-17. Those teams are in a fight for wild card. You might have to go 11-5 to make the AFC wild card.
You bet. And if you're a Cleveland fan, every game goes 60 minutes in Cleveland.
Oh man, they've come from behind, I think, 6 times to win. Third down and just inches. The Jets power the ball. Richard Todd puts his head down, goes behind his center Joe Fields, and they'll spot it down for a first down.
It's right now, Don, that a quarterback has to be concerned with the clock. His team is down by 17 points. They're trying to do anything they can to win. He can't afford to do some of the things in a long drive that he might be able to. He's got to pick something up in a little faster fashion, get them back on the board and get people going, and hope he gets lucky. Then they can get back in.
On 1st and 10, Todd again looks downfield, looking deep. Swings it out. Good throw and a good catch by Clark Gaines out of bounds at the 26. He got ahead for close to 7 yards. The last time the Chicago Bears won an NFL championship was in 1963. Bear fans remember that bitter cold day at Wrigley Field when they beat the New York Giants. That team is being saluted here today, the 1963 champions. Bears have won more NFL titles than any team in the league's history, 9. And they also have more people in the Hall of Fame than any other team. 17 are in Canton. You can be pretty sure 34 is going to be there. That jersey isn't going to be washed and handed out again.
You got it, but the impressive thing, it's the first time in a long time, 3 or 4 years, where I've seen the Bears able to compete in all facets of the game.
And that has been in the recent weeks that they started to come on. Now the Jets start to run the ball, and breaking into open field is Scott Durking, and he takes the ball all the way down to the 5-yard line. So this power back, 5'10", 218 pounds from Purdue, with good speed, sees the opening, changes direction, and rockets upfield for 22 yards and a first down.
Well, Durking makes an outstanding play, and he makes 2 fine decisions. One right here, the play is designed to go outside. He cuts back underneath Fensick, who's in a pretty good position to pursue outside. When he does so, then you can see he really lets Terry Smith have it. He gets up. It's a tough man to handle. He looks like a bowling ball coming at you. They pick up a first inside the 5.
Say it's like tackling a Coke machine. First and goal for the Jets. Power run. Right back, and Scott Durking puts his nose down and gets it close to the goal line. And the clock runs. 6:35 left to play in the game. The Bears in command, 23-6. So the Jets are going to have to score quickly and get the ball back quickly.
They've still got time, however. Another fine play by Durking. He could have been stuffed right at the point of attack. You can see that's Hampton on the ground, who made a fine play to kind of stuff things up. Didn't stop him, however. He made 5 out of nothing. They've got it on a 1-foot line.
Bears go to the goal line defense. Second and goal for the Jets from a yard out. Duke tries the right side. Campbell, Plank, 46 got in there. So did Hampton, 99.
They're sacrificing something, Don, right now. You've noticed Todd has run quarterback sneaks on 2 different occasions today in short yardage. I think he'll do it again because they're taking the linebacker out from right over the front of the quarterback. The short yardage defense have got everybody stuffed in there with no linebacker. He can go right over the top.
Todd has him down, 3rd and goal from less than a yard. Todd rolls out. He can take it in.
He will. They're pointing to the 1-foot line, which is where his feet went out of bounds, but the ball was over the goal line. It's the same thing that happened early in the game to Jerome Barkham.
1 yard for the touchdown.
See if we can pick it up. In a replay, he's coming across Randy Rasmussen and is trying to help by backlogging. He sees nobody up in front to pick off. Fensick comes, tries to make the play, and he never touches his feet in bounds, but look at the ball. It's over the goal line.
He rushed for 1,200 yards as an Alabama quarterback. And on rare occasions, they have him call a sweep run like that. That was a called play. We've seen him twice take a 3rd down straight ahead and quarterback sneak. Linhart breaks his missed streak. Gets off the turf and sees the hands up. Good news for Tony Linhart. An excellent hold, though. You'll see the snap is high, and Matt Robinson gets it. Boy, that holder is important. You did some of that. We'll be back at Soldier Field after this.
It's coming now, a fresh look on the scene, with a whole new style of living, light and crisp and clean. That's why now we say the age of 7-Up is here, because we love that crispy, freshy taste, so light and crystal clear. Move it up, look it up, look it up. America is turning 7-Up, reach it up, feel it up, feel it up. America is turning 7-Up.
With John Brody, this is Don Criqui back at Soldier Field in Chicago. 5:23 left to play in the game. Neil Armstrong with his Bears receiving unit out now, and he's got an onside kick anticipation because he's got a lot of ball handlers up front, and that's what it is. Whoop, free football goes out of bounds. They'll kick it over from the 30. Linhart rolled that down nicely, though.
He got a bad, I'll tell you, the Jets got a bad break on that one because Bruce Herron missed the ball, and it didn't touch any part of his body. Had it touched any part at all, it would have gone directly to the Jets. Would have missed him completely and went straight out of bounds. That can be classified as a break.
We remind you again, and you will see it in New York on WNBC television, the Chargers and the Steelers ready to tee it up in a second game. Now they'll kick it over. Talking to Walt Michaels before the game, I said, what do you think is wrong with a lot of these soccer kickers? He said, one of the things that's wrong is they've never played football. These guys are soccer players. They're called on to come in and kick, and that's all they know about football.
That's true, and we mentioned they're not going to kick it over because they had the option to elect to take it where the ball went out of bounds. And it's 1st and 10 Bears.
50-yard line. I guess you stay with that.
You got it.
So the Bears, beneficiaries of the kick going out, they'll take field position the 50-yard line. Handoff straight ahead. Down goes the head of Willie McClendon. Mike McKibben hit him. So the Bears now be looking to run the clock. Walter Payton taking a respite. 9th on the all-time rushing list. Only Jim Brown and O.J. Simpson got to 5,000 yards as fast as Walter Payton did in their rushing career. Walter Payton's next time out will be against Detroit. And of course, on Thursday here on NBC, it'll be Houston and the Dallas Cowboys from Irving, Texas. Texas football and Turkey on Thanksgiving. Two of the good teams, right? Dallas has got something to prove now. They're having their problems. They had one Monday night at home. They're having one today at Washington. And Houston is rolling right now.
Well, I think you hit it, and we're getting a little reaction out of the crowd, but I think Phipps is doing the thing that he feels he should do in this situation. He's not calling the plays, remember, and so I'm saying I agree with the coaching staff, but they're going to make New York get back in this ball game. They're not going to give them a big break if they can avoid it. You mentioned Dallas. You've got Washington, Philadelphia, and Dallas. And
don't jump.
And I really think
it's not that bad.
Dallas is playing the least effective football of those three teams right now, and it looks like they're going to be tied for first place. So Dallas is going to have to come off the wall for the first time in quite a while.
Baschnagel goes in motion for the Chicago Bears on 3rd down and 6. The pitch back goes to Willie McClendon. And he rockets on down to the 45-yard line. He'll be way short of the first down. So the Bears will punt with 3:40 left to play. And a player down as we see. Is that McClendon? So with an injured player on the field, the clock is stopped with 3:41 left to play. The Bears will be punting it back to the Jets, and Richard Todd, who has some pretty good numbers but not enough points up on the board today. Todd has thrown the ball 19 times, has completed 13 for 167 yards, threw for a touchdown and ran for one. We'll be back with the Jets ready to get the ball back, but first we take a break in the action from Soldier Field in Chicago.
Here's the estimate.
A lot of money for a small hole.
Game-breaking plays, the hottest new craze, all pros in action, the latest in fashion, straight-talking views, and late-breaking news. Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamley host the pregame show that has it all, NFL 79.
Willie McClendon shaken up on the last carry for Chicago, being attended to. The Bears are going to punt the ball back to the Jets now. And before we go to San Diego for the second game of this doubleheader day on NBC for the Chargers and the Steelers, we'll be going to New York where Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamley are standing by for a complete update on NFL 79 scores and highlights. Here's Parsons, who's really punted the ball well. So is his counterpart Ramsey.
Whoa.
Man, he did a job to get that away. Yeah, that Schubert is a demon on special teams. This time Parsons did a great job going way high. There's Schubert, who was down almost covered it inside the 5 again.
Well, earlier he was the man down in a position to allow Baschnagel to down it at the 1-yard line. He's excellent on special teams. He's also a fine receiver. The Bears have found that out since they obtained him from New England about 3 or 4 years ago, and he's been a very big part of their group.
So the Jets have a pretty basic game plan now. They've got to go to the right arm of Richard Todd to get in this game down at 23-13. 3:04 left to play. 1st and 10 for the Jets at their 20. Todd goes to the draw, though, and there's not much there. He was looking for the full rush from the Bears, maybe coming wide. They do a lot of stunning with Page so very quick, looping to the outside. But that time, the middle linebacker was right there. Tom Hicks made the stop along with Page, and Walt Michaels could be on route to a 7th loss of the season with his Jets. The youngest team in the National Football League.
There's a lot of football left, but there won't be much if they don't put it up in the air.
2nd down and 7 now. Todd looks into the sun, throws over the middle, and look at Reception by Jerome Barkham, who gets a first down catch at the 34-yard line. Barkham going way up to catch the ball. You remember he caught the 19-yarder in the first quarter when the Jets scored their first touchdown.
Don't linger back to the huddle, fellas. You've got 130 seconds left to play in this game. Each one of them count.
And each one of them winding away as we come down to the 2-minute warning. Jets get a playoff prior to it. In the flat, Bobby Jones goes up and catches another ball. Boy, he's been great today.
Well, he's shown the ability of a 6-7 year veteran that's got all the moves and ability to run a pattern.
He's caught 6 for 89 yards. We'll take a break in the action here at Soldier Field. 3-13.
By trying harder to be faster, Avis came up with the Wizard of Avis.
Keep on trying, America. The effort is really.
Okay, Bobby Jones, I just mentioned, exposes some of the abilities of a kid that's been around. Watch, this is like a basketball rebound. He gets Schmidt on his right shoulder, still allows the ball to come in the only place he can catch it. Gets it down to where they've got a first down, but not very much time left.
Not much at all. 1:56 left to go. First and 10 for the Jets. Todd looks over his set, brings them down. Looks like he checked off. 134B, and here he goes for the deep throw. Looping it, he's got the linebacker beaten, did Gaines, but the ball was a little high, so it's incomplete.
Well, it looked as if he had the linebacker beat, but Muckensturm kind of hung in there pretty well and took the angle away from Todd and forced him to throw it over the top, and as a result, it's 2nd and 10.
Our producer today for NBC, Ken Edmondson. Our director, Ted Nathanson. Also a lot of help in the booth from Terry Kane, Gil Haggard, Bert Bondi, and Preston Yarber. As Richard Todd, 14-21 as we see at 187. Needing some more now and in a hurry. 1:51 to play. 2nd down and 10. Back to the run. Gaines gets some yardage out to the 50. But they're expensive yards. We running the ball inside 2 minutes, and you're down 23-13.
Well, that's right. In other words, they ran the ball thinking they might be able to pick up 12, 14, 15 yards. Instead of throwing it, they decided to run it. They know they only have X amount of time left. Remember earlier, Durkee ran it for about 20 to set up a score.
Todd looking long, throws it down. Barkham has the ball at the 36-yard line. He's down to the 35. And the clock runs. 1:20, 1:19, still ticking as the Jets go into formation without a huddle. Now they call a timeout. The Chicago Bears have now scored 140 points in their last 5 games. Average of 28 points a game. They scored only 95 points in their first 7 games.
Okay, we're talking about the prevent defense. It's always been a lot of quarterbacks' viewpoint that what it generally does is prevent a team from winning, because what you're giving is a quarterback with some ability an opportunity to get his receivers open. And if one man can hit them when they are, Todd's the man.
Muckensturm goes in with the defensive game plan. Get Todd before he throws it. Before Todd can take his team into an offensive huddle, though, there's going to be a break in the action for them to discuss it. We'll be back. Chicago Bear defense on the field. Walt Michaels with his offense, needing points quickly. They're down 23-13. Todd has the team moving, though. It is 1st down and 10 for the Jets at the Chicago 35-yard line. Bruce Harper runs the ball. Looking to get out of bounds. Bears won't let him. They knock him down. Plank came up, made the hit. Also on the stop for Chicago is Muckensturm.
Don, they've got their 3 timeouts left, but I'm not sure that they'll have enough opportunity to get the ball back, even if they do score, unless they do it within the next 20 seconds. They could obviously play for an onside kick and hope they get it, all right? But even if they didn't, they could still stop the Bears if they were to take their timeouts and save a little more time. Now there's 54 seconds. They've got to get something done.
Final score, Philadelphia has come from behind twice in the game and has defeated the St. Louis Cardinals, who always come close but never seem to win. 16-13, Philadelphia over St. Louis. Harold Carmichael caught a pass in 108 consecutive games now. Allen Ellis goes out. On Thursday, of this week, Thanksgiving Day. It is the Houston Oilers and the Dallas Cowboys. 3:30 Eastern Time. The proceedings get underway. Texas football and a Turkey Day on NBC. Houston is really cooking, and Dallas is losing at the moment at Washington. Started out behind. They've never been close there, really.
It's been a long time since Dallas was in a must-win game, and they'll be in one Thursday.
And of course, coming up next, a doubleheader game on NBC, Pittsburgh at San Diego. Jets 2nd down and 6 as Richard Todd drops to throw, looking into the end zone. Now he's got to run. Fires. Diving at the ball, but not making the connection is Clark Gaines. And Todd went down, hit hard. There's a penalty marker down with him.
Well, I know there's one back where Todd is, and
rough in the pass.
Generally that's the call. Alan Page with his hands on the hips, it doesn't sound encouraging for Chicago.
That scoreboard does. 48 seconds to play, and they're leading 23-13. They have a matchup with Detroit Thursday, the Bears do, and then it's on to Tampa Bay.
Defense, number 82, roughing the quarterback. First down.
He's in a position right now, Don, he cannot afford to run the ball anymore. He has got to put 3 balls in the end zone. It'll take very little time off the clock. 48 seconds remaining now. They've still got a chance, but they've got to hit.
23-13 with 48 seconds left. Todd takes the drop. Here's the rush. There's the throw. Incomplete at the 5-yard line. Todd goes down again, courtesy of Mike Hartenstein, 73. Bruce Harper was the intended receiver. It almost ended up with a Chicago Bear.
It's been a case history. This time it's Hartenstein and Alan Page doubling up to put good pressure on Todd. Hartenstein gets there first, but Page was right behind.
2nd down and 10 coming up now for the Jets. 16-yard line of Chicago. 43 seconds left to play in the game here at Soldier Field. Todd, big rush, loops it up. Intercepted. That'll put the lock on as Doug Plank brings the ball back. And Plank, as Todd is down now, Hampton said, I didn't do it. Page hit you.
There is a penalty.
That's right. There is a penalty down. What do we have here? Plank intercepted, but let's see what the official ruling is now as a penalty marker went down. Here's the referee, Brent Bright. Pointing at the Jets for grabbing at a face mask.
Right, I can understand. If I'm Richard Todd trying to handle Alan Page, I'm going to grab a face mask too. Get a little frustrated when you've played very good football. Your team is 10 points behind, and I think the real turn in this ball game happened in the 3rd quarter when the Bears had it for 13+ minutes and the Jets had it for 1. No matter how well you play offense, if you don't get the ball more than that, your team's in trouble.
Boy, the Bears own the ball.
On number 14, first down.
So that will nail the lid on. The Bears get the ball. Todd finished the day 17 of 26, 203 yards, 2 interceptions. That one a moment ago to Plank. Sealing this victory for the Bears, which will be their 4th in a row, with the Lions coming up, and they're 1-10 at the moment, ours Detroit. Don Strock just threw another touchdown pass for the Miami Dolphins to put them ahead of the Cleveland Browns. Duriel Harris caught the ball. All the scores and highlights are coming up here on NBC. NFL 79 before we go to San Diego on most of these stations for the Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Looks like Shula made the right move at the right time, at least for today.
Now from a 17-17 tie, Miami now leads the game 24-17.
Well, some people had mentioned earlier.
That's an unsportsmanlike foul on a 37 on a bench. That's a first down.
Tim Maresco, who doesn't get a whole lot of playing time, had his number called from the bench.
Well, he didn't get in on that one either.
Unsportsmanlike conduct from the bench.
You know, you
might have said the wrong thing, John.
I think on occasion some of us do, and the players don't have any patent on it.
Bears in that prevent offense now. Fall on the ball. Don't fumble. Some teams have. Mike Phipps eases down. Clock ticks. Jets call a timeout. One left, says Neil Armstrong. 28 seconds left to play. So the Bears will extend their record to 7-5 on the season. Not that long ago, it was 3-5.
You bet, and it's the way they've won, not that they've won. They've played, except for Los Angeles, formidable opponents, but not outstanding, not people that were over 500. Today, I think they've shown they played in every facet of the game the way people in Chicago would like to root for their club to play, and it shows good promise for the future.
Holding that thing like a egg or a little baby.
You bet you hold it close and don't leave any limbs outside the area of the body, because you never know.
Neil Armstrong counting his winnings now. Gets a handshake and a well-deserved one. He has his Bears ready, and they're playing a lot better football. They say the playoff teams show it in November. That's when they start to peak. 24 seconds on the game clock. And the Bears come out once again, 3rd down and 15. And it'll be 4th and about 18, because Sips is going to take it and go right down again. Thank you. Strings out now for the Jets. No more timeouts, and the clock winds down, and Chicago Bear fans stand and salute the Bears in their 4th consecutive victory. So the final number is up, and there is the final second. The Chicago Bears defeat the New York Jets 23-13, with the Detroit Lions coming up, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the Bears. The Jets head next to Seattle, Washington, to go against the Seahawks. Now for John Brody, this is Don Criqui, and now let's join Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamle.